Acoustune HS2, the Acoustune HS1900X Shinogi. Yeah, it takes a while to get it right because the Japanese brands tend to favor a numbering system for their naming, like Sony does, Acoustune, Denon. So it can get a bit hard to remember what the specific brands are. But this is the Shinogi. The Shinogi is priced at $1,300 US. It's a single dynamic driver, I believe it's 10mm. It's got a composite membrane structure comprising a Mi-rings diaphragm and an ultra-thin titanium dome. The cable also, I normally don't talk about cables, but in this case, let's see if we can get a closer look. I will give you some shots of the cable too, but this cable is very nice. It looks like it's made of metal, but actually it's a PVC coating. It's very high quality PVC coating. It's a tin-plated OFC, and it can feel a bit heavy, but it's actually very it doesn't tangle up, and it's got a very comfortable feel to it. There's no microphonics or anything that will distract you from your listening, and I quite like it. Pairs very well with the IEM. Let me just start right off with the sound signature, which I usually do. The sound signature is W-shaped. It's a fun dynamic sound signature. It's got a very good bass profile. Yeah, this has got good bass. This has got great bass actually. The bass is very fast, it's textured, detailed, and is high quality. It punches really well. There isn't any mud, there is no bloom. A very well controlled bass. I'd say that the sub bass goes deep, not the deepest that I've heard, so it might not rumble as much as you want, but you can't feel it, but you can hear it. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Mid bass also has very nice punch and slam, as I mentioned earlier. I would say it's more of a mid bass focus set than sub bass focus. The mid bass has very nice weight. Moving on to the mids. As this is a W-shaped IEM, the mids are slightly recessed, I would say. The vocals are not lost in the mix. It's slightly recessed. You can still hear the voices clearly, but you don't get a lot of micro details. You don't get the resolution on it. It's not compressed as what you might get in some V-shaped tuned IEMs. So it's still fine. But I do find that if you pair it with a source that is a slightly warmer source that pushes out the vocals a bit, or just has a warmer tonality, it helps with the vocals. It actually balances it out very nicely. Moving on to the treble. The treble is a little bit spicy, so you have to consider your ear tips carefully. The first time I heard this, yeah, it was a bit of a shock, but it's not sibilant at all. It doesn't stray into sibilant territory. It is probably a few steps away, but pair it with the right ear tips. I think if you look at the photos that I have of this, I'm using the Dunu SNS. It just tones it down sufficiently to make it bearable. Again, it depends on your preference. Some people might have a better tolerance than me and might prefer something more spicy and sharper. For me, I do like some sharp treble, but this works fine. It works very well. The treble is also very airy, sparkly, and very detailed. So very well extended too. I would say one of the key highlights of this set is how well extended the treble is and how clear and detailed it is. But I'm going to go into that when I talk on technicalities, which I'm going to do now. So in terms of technicalities, the highlights of this set essentially is that it's a very highly resolving set and it's very clear. The micro details come through very clearly. It's very enjoyable, and you will probably find that you're just listening to the set just to hear the details coming through, as it is supported by that very nicely punchy bass. Instrument separation, layering. I'd say there's a good amount of space between instruments. Not fantastic, not something that stands out. It works. In terms of layering is just average. I would say nothing to write home about. My favorite test track for testing layering is a Miles Davis song called Blue and Green. So at the start of that song, there's some piano in the background. A good IEM will be able to kind of push the piano a bit further back into the background. Something that's not so good might sound like it's just right next to you, but it's just on a softer volume. I'd say the Shinogi is somewhere in between. It does it does sound like it's behind you, but it's not far enough back. As an example, the unique melody mess, it sounds like it's in another room. It's a separate room compared to where you are. That's a different level of layering. In terms of the soundstage, there isn't a lot of depth in it. Soundstage is mainly to the left and to the right. You will hear that instruments or any tones or drums and whatever effects are going to the left and right. You don't really have much presence in front and at the back. It's just a left and right thing. The soundstage itself is decent. It's sufficiently wide, not very tall though. And the imaging is decent too, but in line with the other parts of the technicality, it's just a bit two-dimensional. The transients, the attack is very fast. If you're listening to, especially on tracks that are bass heavy, it is very addictive to listen to the way bass is presented with this IEM. You find that you don't get any, as I was saying earlier, you don't get any muddiness or any bloom. It's so controlled, and it's so the attack is so nice that you can hear all the notes being hit. But this is backed up with a nice decay too. The decay level is a good pace. It doesn't just decay quickly. So you still have that after effect of the notes being hit. And this is what makes this set so addictive. Tonality, vocals are very nice, very natural. Though I have to say that for certain songs, you can hear a slight metallic tinge, especially when there's a lot of cymbal crashes and sharp musical instruments. It might be to do with the titanium chamber, but I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things. You can hear a slight metallic tinge, not a deal breaker, perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me at all. It shouldn't bother you. It's just there, but it's fine. So what genres would I recommend for the Shinogi? I think it's pretty clear by the description of the IEM so far. It's just a dynamic and fun set. So you would be looking at pop, rock, EDM. These are all great. They sound fantastic on this IEM. Obviously, as a more dynamic shape that's slightly more V&W shaped IEM, I don't think classical works that well. I've tried that. I've tried orchestral music, jazz or instrumental. It just sounds a bit off. It's not natural, not the most accurate sounding. So I don't think that it would pair well with any kind of genres for those. But if you're just mainly listening to pop, rock, EDM, fun stuff, it's perfect. So in conclusion, it sounds like I have a lot of complaints and issues with this set, but to the contrary, I actually like it very much. There are some limitations to the technicalities, but the fun I had with it outweighs the limitations. So a while back, I had listened to its bigger brother, the HS1900X Mark III. Okay, I was blown away. Somebody handed it to me and just said, hey, check this out. I put it on. I was like, I love this. Took it off and said, how much is it? I want to buy this. I think something like $5,000 or $4,000. So I changed my mind, put my wallet back. Yeah. The same DNA for that set is present in the Shinogi. You can hear the same kind of, you could say it's a baby, it's a junior HS2000MX Mark III. So if you are looking for something like that, if you've heard that set and you like it, and it's out of your budget, this one is a good alternative. So it's something worth giving it a try. It's a very dynamic, very resolving set, W-shaped, but the bass and the treble are quality. Let me score this. It's a 90 out of 100, easily. I love this, and I think you should give it a try. Thank you very much for watching.